Getting good at boxing is pretty easy. It may seem like you need years of practice to improve, but if you train the right way, you'll see real progress sooner than you think. Whether you're just learning to fight or have been training for a while, in this video, we'll go through the 10 key steps that will take your boxing to the next level. Step 1. Refine your technique. In boxing, technique is what separates an effective fighter from a sloppy one. Improving your technique means learning to control every movement, optimizing power, balance, and defense. One of the first steps is recognizing and correcting the most common mistakes, which often go unnoticed during training. The first mistake is not bringing your hand back to guard. Leaving your guard open is one of the most frequent and dangerous errors. After every punch, your hand must immediately return to protect your face to avoid unpleasant surprises. Boxing has several stances, but if you're just starting out, the most important thing is to learn to control distance and movement before trying more advanced variations. Chin too exposed. Sticking your chin forward increases the risk of being hit. Your chin should always be slightly lowered and protected by your front shoulder. Unbalanced weight on your legs. Leaning forward or backward reduces both your mobility and the power of your punches. Your weight should be distributed evenly between your legs, ready to move in any direction. When defending, about 60% of your weight should be on your back leg and 40% on your front. When attacking, the distribution flips. Punches pushed without engaging the body. Punching power doesn't come from your arm alone. About 40% of the force comes from your legs, through push and lower body movement, combined with torso rotation and shoulder twist. If you want to refine your form, there are tons of great technical tutorials on YouTube that can really help you. Correcting these mistakes is essential for a clean technique, allowing you to strike more effectively without exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. Step 2. Master the jab. The jab is the first tool a boxer must learn to master. Behind this seemingly simple movement, there are several variations, each serving a specific purpose. In general, we can identify 4 main types of jabs, like the control jab. This is the most common jab, used to establish space between you and your opponent. A good control jab is quick and precise. It acts like a radar, gauging the range of your opponent's punches and interrupting their attempts to close the distance. The setup jab. This jab isn't meant to land a strong hit. It's meant to set things up. You throw it to provoke a reaction, make your opponent raise their guard, or move them into a favorable position. Once you get the response you want, you follow up with a heavy punch. The pressure jab. This type of jab is designed to push your opponent back and gain ground. It can be used as a single punch, but it works best in doubles or triples. The first jab closes the distance, while the second and third keep the opponent covered as you advance. The closing jab. Similar to the pressure jab, but here the goal is to get into the right range to work the body or set up a close range combination. Step 3. Build strong footwork. Many boxers don't realize it, but in the ring, there's a constant battle that has nothing to do with punches. The battle for foot positioning. The way you move and position yourself relative to your opponent determines who controls the exchange. For example, if you're an orthodox fighter facing a southpaw or the other way around, the golden rule is always to try to keep your lead foot outside of your opponent's lead foot. This stance automatically gives you a good angle to hit and keeps you out of your opponent's line of attack. Naturally, sometimes your opponent will take the outside position, and when that happens, keep your guard up or take a small step back to get out of their line of fire. To train your footwork, you can do drills using raised platforms, move in all 4 directions, or use an agility ladder. Step 4. Building a complete boxing training. To become really good at boxing, just hitting the bag every day isn't enough. You need a complete training program. Every effective boxer builds their foundation on 5 main pillars. The first is cardio, because without endurance, even the best technique will collapse after a few rounds. Many people think that to get better endurance in boxing, it's enough to run every day, but that's not really true. Running helps, but it's steady cardio because you keep the same pace for a long time. Boxing needs a different kind of cardio, with short bursts of effort, quick recovery, and constant changes of direction. That's why functional circuits are the best way to build boxing cardio, because they get you used to sudden sprints, short rests, and repeated actions just like in a real round in the ring. Strength. This isn't just about punching power, it's about whole body strength. You can develop it with exercises like jumping squats, medicine ball drills, or heavy bag work to build the explosive power you need behind every punch. The third pillar is physical conditioning. Exercises such as push-ups, pull-ups, and planks help strengthen muscles and endurance. Pay special attention to your core. A strong torso gives you stability in your movements and allows you to better absorb the impact of blows. Then we have mobility, which should not be underestimated. Good mobility helps you move fluidly, react quickly to attacks, and most importantly, reduces the risk of injury. The last pillar is boxing skills. This is where sparring comes in. Light sparring is probably the best way to move realistically in the ring. With a partner, you learn to read your opponent's movements in ways that no punching bag ever could. Step 5. Sharpen your offense and defense. To improve in both phases, there are some very effective strategies to keep in mind. Let's start with the defense. Because, not getting hit is generally considered a good thing. The first strategy is to block and parry punches. The foundation of good defense is an active guard, where you either absorb or deflect punches while controlling the movement. Blocking means taking the impact with your gloves, while parrying lets you slightly redirect your opponent's punch to open a window for a counter. Evasion. Focus on small, controlled head and torso movements, while always staying balanced on your legs. The pullback is a great example. You step back slightly, make the opponent miss, and immediately come back with a straight. Bob and weave. This means dropping your torso and moving under the punch to come out in a counter position. A great drill is to tie a rope between 2 points and practice slipping under it. Now let's see some strategies for the attack. Alternate the shots. Alternate body and head shots so your opponent has no easy reference. You can also fake a body jab to make them lower their guard, then go to the head. Cutting off the ring. If your opponent tries to circle away, follow their path and trap them in a corner to limit their movement. Use punch combinations. Alternate short and long sequences to disrupt your opponent's rhythm. Mix jabs, hooks, and body shots to force them to change their guard and create openings for powerful punches. Step 6. Adapt your strategy. Adapting your strategy means analyzing both your own strengths and your opponent's and acting intelligently. For taller fighters with a longer reach, the main advantage is distance. Keeping your distance with jabs prevents shorter opponents from getting close, limiting their maneuvering space. Shorter fighters, on the other hand, need to focus on getting inside their opponent's range. Moving the head to avoid long punches and targeting the body with close-range combinations is the best way to neutralize a reach advantage. When facing aggressive opponents, the key is to create space without burning too much energy. Pivoting on your toes or using a check hook when your opponent comes in helps break their rhythm. Against fighters with heavy power, it's smart to adopt a hit-and-move approach, avoiding staying in the line of their strongest shots. Step 7. Use the clinch the right way. The clinch involves closing in on your opponent and temporarily blocking the distance with a controlled grip. While many see it as a pause, in reality, the clinch is a technical move that can shift the momentum of a round. Entering the clinch can be useful for recovering your breath, disrupting your opponent's rhythm, and preventing them from setting up combinations, limiting the power of close-range punches, and mentally frustrating your opponent. Of course, it shouldn't be overused. Frequent clinching can signal fatigue and may get you warned by the referee for holding too much. To clinch safely, shorten the distance with your lead foot, keeping your chin down. Then, grab your opponent's back with one hand and their arm with the other, while at the same time controlling your opponent's shoulder with your head. In this position, even if you are safe, it is always best to be active because your opponent may try to break free by pushing with their shoulder and then attacking with their other arm. Step 8. Use the side step. For a long time, it was an underused technique, but in recent years, it has regained major importance thanks to champions like Lomachenko, who turned it into a formidable tactical weapon. It involves moving to the side, either to the right or left, to change your angle of attack or defense relative to your opponent. In defense, the side step helps you evade your opponent's power lines, like a straight punch. In attack, it allows you to create new angles for strikes. Step 9. Control the center of the ring. Maintaining the center of the ring is one of the fundamental strategies in boxing. Even if you feel comfortable on the ropes, controlling the center gives you tactical advantages. You have greater freedom of movement, more options to attack, and the ability to react quickly to your opponent's initiatives. On the other hand, staying on the ropes limits your punch angles and puts you at risk. The battle for the center begins from the very first moments of the round. Often, fighters test their opponent's determination, trying to see who will give up ground first. To control the center, there are 3 strategies to keep in mind. Advance with micro steps to measure distance. Use small steps to gradually occupy space, always keeping your guard up. This forces your opponent to react without giving them openings. Alternate pressure and pause. Don't move forward at a constant pace. Sometimes press, sometimes slow down. This variation breaks predictability and keeps control of the center without exposing weaknesses. Play with the jab. A well-placed jab while in the center reinforces your presence and keeps your opponent on the defensive. Step 10. Learn to threaten your opponent. In the ring, perception is also part of the strategy. Boxers use different ways to threaten their opponent. Some do it with power, showing from the start that they're not afraid to throw hard punches. Others use speed, moving quickly and staying ready to react to every move you make. Then there are the counterpunchers, those who stay still just a step away, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And then there's confidence, those fighters who move calmly and aren't rattled by the punches they take. Understanding how your opponent projects strength and learning to do it yourself is crucial because boxing isn't just a physical sport. It's a constant psychological game.